thought. Okay, cool. So, as we come back
To the tavern. Oh, yeah.
this is something altogether different for the two of you. Thrall, you're still putting on your armor, putting on the last few plates, still a minute or two remains. This rumbling has become an all-out, just massive, just shaking in your tent. And things are falling over. The men in lines, they're teetering, but they're not breaking. You know they won't break, even at such odds as this. And you, Marius. Marius, are you in front of the lines or behind the lines?
I'd be with the lines, like within 16 feet of the fighting, probably.
Amongst the elites. Cool, I got you. That makes sense. So, Marius, relatively quickly, you begin to see what these things are, as well as the rest of your troops, as they brace for impact. Because this rolling horde, this mass coming off of the hill, just slams into your troops. And each and every one of them has a form and figure such as this, that seems to be almost formless, shapeless, this mass of mud and flesh, from what you can tell, with these just abyssal eyes. And this is what is coming in mass to your guys' line. So, any final words for your men as they are about to breach?
Marius isn't one for rousing speeches. It's kill or I will kill you is the code of this army. So they all know to fight to the death.
Yeah. The captain on his horse, he's the only one in the company who's actually on a horse, rides before the troops, as he was kind of riding before them again at the start of the line, just to make sure they were all in line. And then one last time he rides before them, he seems to be shouting a few things. The last thing he shouts, it rings true to all of you. For der richtige Führer! For the truest ruler. And all the men rouse up in response. They shout war cries. And just as the captain gets astride the lines, this horde comes down upon you all like water unto rock, flowing amidst and around your company, almost engulfing all of you. Almost. As you hear this, Thrall, through the cloth of your tent, as you're just kind of pulling the last few straps of your armor, as the men in your front lines, Marius, just seem to be pressed by this probably like 1 or 2 ton mass of force. You see a couple of shields buckle and almost break, even though they're made of metal. And there is battle breaking out all around. And basically, this is going to be very abstracted for you, Marius. What is it that you would command your men to do at this point? This mass has not broken your line, but has almost completely surrounded it, just in the opening moments of the combat, simply because there's so many of them pushing so hard.
Yeah. Well, can I get a really crude?
Absolutely, yeah. Look below Dacta, far below, and I can give you a bit of a map. So I will make red you guys. Let me use boxes. That'll be the easiest. So we got. Okay, so we'll say. My bad. It needs to be shape. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we have red. We got your front line. We got your...
Are you drawing something? Because it's not showing up.
It is. It's in the black area.
Yeah, it's in the black area.
It's in the black. I thought it was in the ocean.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, and then you have Blammo. Okay, so let me go ahead and... So gold is going to be your elites.
Yeah.
Blue are your veterans, and the front are the novices. And then there is basically just this immense horde, as I said, of these things that seems to be surrounding you guys, or attempting to do so. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight them this. So you basically have just this front mass, and then encompassing masses.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and they are innumerous. There seems to be an endless amount of these things as they're just piling down the hill toward your men. So, on the opening engagement, as your men brace for impact, if you would like to roll me a D10. This is basically just large-scale combat, very simplified. Roll me a D10.
Nice.
Okay,
yes.
That's what you want.
That is what you want. That's critical success, dude.
Yeah.
There are mods, so I was gonna say, your army doesn't. Your army only has mods at this point for basically a charismatic leader and well-armed. That means they have a +2.
Nice.
Their army has a +5 for overwhelming numbers, but nothing else. Your
and
men
they lose.
hold firm.
Nice.
You don't see a single man break in your line. The line is firm, it is solid. If you had more men, if you had enough men to completely stall this, you could just sit here, and these guys would get ground up. But you have to act.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as it is, actually, it seems like your lines are doing quite good work in kind of separating. This is probably what you would have trained them to do. Just trying to range, but not far enough to break the line, but just far enough to try to sort of break the flank a little bit. And if this were any kind of human force, it would work unerringly. But as of right now, it's just a mass of seemingly mindless creatures.
Yeah.
All right, so
just to give you a really crude representation of what's happening, so I'm going to use blue as the second line. So this is kind of how they're staggered.
Okay.
And you'll notice that there's holes.
Yeah.
Right? So what these holes represent is that if any of my weaker soldiers, which are a solid straight line, break and they need to retreat, they can go through these holes. And then it's plugged by my men.
Nice.
And then the way that I have my elite soldiers is that they are more of a shape like this, and there's 3 segments of them, right? So me and Thrall will be represented by green.
Yep.
Thrall and I would be that's yellow.
I'm just getting out of my tent. I'm not.
We would be positioned sort of around here-ish if we're going to be fighting. So what can end up happening as soon as the front line is going to break, they can retreat back into another line that can just form. But I would be having the other lines kind of address this issue, and they can fight in a smaller number, right? And then I will use these men here at whatever disposal I see fit.
Okay, yeah, for sort of individual tact, and stuff. Nice. All right, yeah. So, Thrall, you are going to be coming out of your tent, and you look one way, it's a whole bunch of empty tents. You look the other way, there's the largest battle you've ever seen in your life.
I get a big grin on my face, and I'm just going to double dash and try and get over there.
Yep. Basically, you will be an entity in the fray at the roll after this next one.
Mm-hmm. I'm basically serving as Marius is handling all the macro. I'm handling like micro. So when a group is like acting in a certain way where they look like they're going to break or something, I start like giving them specific commands, and like I basically ride my horse over to that sort of area, start giving sort of macro commands of like where archers should aim their arrows and that sort of thing.
Yeah. If I see Thrall ride by, I'd like make eye contact with him for a second, and then look at my two henchmen and just "Badistas" and point at him, and they just kind of like get up on their feet and chase after him. So they're gonna stay by his side.
Yeah, they'll follow after him. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, sick. Yeah. So, as you all are performing your various tasks, your men are holding fast, as I said, and this horde of beings trying to break your resolve, trying to break your men down. At this point, we will make one more battle check. And then something will happen. So, yeah, go ahead and give me... It's a D10 plus 3 now, because you have intelligent commands. All right, it's not too shabby. They are still overwhelming. All right, yeah. So
pretty good.
as you sort of like place your men where they need to be placed, the carnage begins, and basically a large part of the front line up here starts to buckle just under the sheer force and weight of these creatures piling onto them. The Ainari have very good, very large, thick shields. However, when it comes to just sheer mass being flung at it in this haphazard way, they're buckling. But that's why you have the second line. And your men are holding. You're taking casualties, but the line is yet to be broken. Thrall, you enter the fray along with the two of Marius' henchmen and with the elite platoon here, and start to make baseball's precise rounds of the battle. Any place that seems weak, you start to bottle up into, reinforce. And something that the both of you distinctly notice is a large, tall figure seemingly striding amidst the miasma of chaos. And you guys can see it because it is illuminated by an aura all its own. This creature is...
Me and Thrall notice this.
Both of you notice this very distinctly, yes. Okay. You're both on horseback, you can see above the fight easily. This creature is much bigger than any of these things that you're seeing around here. It is such. It is this skeleton with muscle and flesh still upon it, but this deep, burning red fire coming out of its eye, and the scorpion tail almost seems to be several spines connected together with a sharp razor's edge at the end pointed before it. And it seems to be striding forth amongst the miasma.
How far away is it?
I would place it... I'll go ahead and actually just put it here. It's not that big. Fuck off. It is...
If we had to give it like a feet...
yeah, I'll tell you. It's probably like maybe...
If I was to like ride to the front lines.
Okay, from the front line, he's about 50 feet.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and this thing looks like pure, unearthly evil made physical. And it is, it's bigger than a man. I'll tell you that. It stands far and away above all of your soldiers and the whelps around it, as it seems to just step on them where it goes. This giant skeleton. Though it is not the size of a giant, it seems almost more terrifying.
Yeah, you saw. I'd like to hunter's market.
All right, you can do that, absolutely. Yeah,
I have something very specific I want to do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can take an action as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you'd like to get within 60 feet of it and do that.
Yeah, you said 50 feet?
50 feet, yeah, because at the front line, if you're fighting, yeah. And the thing about these just blob-like creatures, they provide almost no challenge whatsoever.
Yeah.
But there's just so many. So yeah, what would you like to do?
So the 50 feet is important because I have a harpoon with 50 foot of rope tied to it.
Oh, how about that?
And I'd like to, with the disadvantage, but using my Warbringer advantage to cancel that out, try and throw it to him, and try and basically, like, it looks like relatively skeletal. I want to, like, catch it on some bone and just start, like, trying to drag him as far through the thing, like, into our front lines as I can.
Oh, yeah. That is very much doable.
If the henchmen see that he's going to try and help, if he provides any slack of the rope, he'll get help from the twins.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, basically, if you do hit and you are to do a contested check, you'll get advantage.
Okay, cool.
So, go ahead and give me a throw on that bad boy.
Yeah, so this is just a normal roll. Can I use my GM inspiration to get advantage on this? Or, because it's from disadvantage, so I don't know if you'd allow that.
I'll allow it.
Okay, cool.
Go for it, because you've disadvantaged, and I'll let you advantage.
Okay,
that's fine.
Thank you, my Lord and Savior Tarot.
That's perfect.
Sure. Do you want to put those down on the... Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to put these down on the battle map to represent... Yeah, but you did, so...
Yeah. 26.
Are you guys on the... Fuck me sideways.
And so I jab this thing into him and just start, like, trying to yank him in. That will deal 11. Oh, I rolled good. 11 piercing.
That's pretty good for a harpoon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm pulling these bad boys out here. Thrall, you are right on the front lines. Yep.
Yeah.
You're out there.
And I just start like
bada bing, bada
barking at our men, like telling them to basically like any if because I'm assuming the rope is still like at sort of head height, so like other like people just on the front lines to grab it and start yanking this guy in.
bing. Yeah, I got you. All right, yeah. So go ahead and give me a contested athletics.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and give this thing a
21.
contested athletics. Bear with me for a second.
Right, you have advantage, so you should roll that again.
Oh yeah, I do because she's your henchman's helping me.
Yep. Yeah, you
Thank
yourself
you. Rolled terribly, but thank you.
That's okay. I mean,
Okay.
it's it could have been a 28. You never know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It could have been insane.
All right, so yeah, I don't have it on a sheet just yet, but this guy's going to get this.
Oh, yes.
Oh, so
There we go.
it's pretty funny because a couple of men try grabbing the rope, and as this creature yanks against it, the men are almost like flung off their footing into the miasma of chaos. However, you pull it back, just slow and steady.
And I start riding my
Yanking this
horse
thing.
backwards at full pace because it's like a big, hefty warhorse as well.
Yep. No, yeah, this creature is being pulled in your direction, and as it is being pulled, it's those two spindles upon its back that look almost like just these skeletal hands wave themselves out, and you notice then they are wings, and it begins to fly above your men.
Good, I'm riding it. I've got it like a kite.
I was gonna say, you're like
sense.
that boat in Jurassic Park 2 where you're going and then they're air surfing, like,
Yeah.
In
or
a
they're
sense.
they're
Yeah,
they're
you
sailing.
hear phew, gosh.
I'm still like reeling it towards, so it's like
Of course,
it
of course,
flies up, and then I'm like trying
It
to reel
is-
it down.
It is coming towards you, absolutely. Oh yeah, it's doing that unbidden. But it starts screaming something in this just guttural language of just just coming out of this skeletal maw. Noise should not be coming from this creature, but it does. And you see your lines start to buckle just slightly more as the masses start to slam against them hard. And it is going to barrel into the ground behind your warhorse, Brawl.
Nice.
And I assume if you're pulling this thing away, you get to a point that's sort of behind your lines with your horse.
Yeah, because I was riding my
maybe-
horse backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe 100 feet behind your lines, and maybe 150. But Marius, you see them. They're within about 100 feet. You can get there on your horse pretty easily. And
I
then
was gonna say I'd start striding over.
yeah, the twins are following. They're a little ways off, but they are following.
They quick
And-
little bitches, they'll get there.
They're pretty quick. And you guys are basically going to be in a sort of combat with this thing. So I want the three of you to roll initiative for me, because as of right now, this platoon is off plugging holes as of right now. If you'd rolled better on the last battle,
Hell
they might have been
look
freed
at
up.
that initiative, boy.
Yeah. Cool. Let me maybe if I open.
That's for the
initiative.
twins.
Cool.
Nice.
I rode
dump
good.
people. That you did. Okay. Yeah. What did the twins get?
20.
Okay. Shoot. Okay. This thing. Okay. Sweet. So, I'm just going to put down twins. Twins, anyone? And then that's going to be a
I love the twins. They're great. Like
pretty cool.
I
These
like
are
I like NPCs that don't talk. Like they're just good because you're like
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Marys. Or no, not Marys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Thrall.
really? Oh damn! That's
Yeah,
nice
Thrall.
of you. Damn.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
rolled
going
a six.
to
Hell
use. I'm going to use the Warbringer helmet. Going to use one of my charges to gain advantage on 2 attacks,
Yes, sir.
and I will attack him twice. So I bring it round once, get a 28, and then
I hope that'll hit.
time I get a 29, and it crits.
Oh my god.
Help me.
This is why you don't have singular monsters against Thrall. He will destroy them.
I'd like to Divine Smite on the second one, please.
You know what? You sure can. And guess what this thing is?
What is it?
Is it undead?
The other one.
Fiend?
Yep.
Okay.
God.
So does that mean I get an extra D on that?
Yes, yeah. You get an extra 2d8 on top of your
Nice,
Divine
dude.
Smite.
So
Every person's dream, an extra D.
Because of your crit.
That's my first
So,
attack. That's my second. Okay. Cool. And then... By the way, I don't know if this applies, but I need to check the wording of something, because I don't want to do this, because it would feel really gamey. But the Paladin Divine Smite, does that count as damage, like, from your weapon? I'm trying to see if,
no,
like, you get the stupid
so. Why?
re-rolling 1 or 2, like... Because I don't, like... It's when you hit a creature, you expend to deal in addition. Yeah, I don't know if that applies to the
only
Great
debate
Weapon
things
Fighter.
like this when you deal so much damage. It's like it's hard to like
ridiculous.
reconcile. So you're just like, well,
Why don't you go ahead and roll the damage first, and I can tell it if you kill it in one hit.
Okay, so it's so it's 3d8 usually, right? But because it's a fiend, it gets an extra one.
Yeah. So now it's well, you crit. So normally you would get a 2d8. It's a fiend, so 3d8. Crit, so 68.
Yeah. I was just checking that, like,
Yep.
the fiend. Okay, cool. So that's 68.
Mother of God.
Oh my God, there's so much damage.
Yeah, it just says for an attack you make with a melee weapon attack.
Yeah.
And the Divine Smite says you add radiant damage, but we'll just do it that it doesn't for this, because
Yeah.
otherwise
I'll
it's
fix
gonna get ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, how much damage is that? Tom?
So 26, 32, 44, 44 plus 17 is 51, 61 plus 11, 72 plus 14 is 86 damage.
Oh my God.
Woo.
If you say, Ruben, how would you like to kill it right now? I'm gonna be.
Nope. Sadly, it's not dead yet. You,
I'd like to action surge.
I hate you. Okay.
And hit it 2 more times, please, because this
Yeah.
is retarded.
Yeah. This thing emanates this aura of just destructive fear and
Oh my God, dude.
and energy. But guess who's not affected by the fucking aura of destructive fear?
Thrall's so good.
I'm so
You know what's
sorry.
hilarious? I'm going to tell you something that's hilarious about this, but go ahead. After the game, but go ahead.
Yeah, oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
First
one, yeah.
Oh my god, okay, so that's...
Yeah, that's
You know
a
what's
lot
funny?
of damage.
This thing has
21.
really good AC, but you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I rolled really good, I'm so sorry.
How much damage is that?
So that's 21. I'm gonna Divine Smite again, by the way.
Do you... Yes. Well, okay.
So...
Ah!
So that
Ruben,
time, that's
done over
21...
like-
I'm going to take a little liberty, Ruben, if you don't mind.
Okay.
With
so
how this
sorry.
thing fucking... This thing with 150 health fucking dies in one round. So, what happens is...
I'm so sorry.
Pulling away the... No, this is beautiful. So, it lands. It lands. It spreads its wings wide. It looks like it is about to take Thrall on. And Thrall just strides up to it with his great axe in his hand and just starts attacking this thing.
Oh my God.
Not like any other man attacks any other man, but like a fucking rock hits a fucking wooden house and just... Thrall is destroying this creature one strike at a time as the creature tries to get a counterattack. And he just can't. And Thrall, hit after hit, slashes one wing off, then an arm off, and then gets to the point where Thrall, you just smash your great axe into this thing's chest. This thing that is about 3 times your size. Bone, sinew, and devilish energy just emanating from it. And as it hits its chest, you let loose your divine fury. And this bloody purge happens from your axe. It just seems to just explode out with blood. And as it does so, the creature reels back away from your axe. And it seems like it's going to come in for an attack. It has 40 rock. The bloody wound you've left it begins to bulge and bubble. And in a moment, there is that split second that occurs where it's just silence. And there's just this faint... He explodes into a shower of blood. And so it was that this thing died. And as it dies, many, though not the majority, of these creatures start to just melt where they stand.
Oh God, no! You just killed an entire army in one turn.
I just let out like a I let out like a roar that probably like resounds for a few of the men who are like around trying to help pull on the rope and stuff beforehand.
Oh
God, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
So
Tripper spends all these time building these monsters and encounters and stuff, guys, and then I'm so sorry.
Don't be. That was amazing.
And then
is anything exchanged between you guys? As Marius, I'm sure you're like rushing in with your crossbow drawn, like ready to aid Thrall.
Yeah, like I'm gonna shoot at it, and then it's like, and then it's and then I just see it like stop, and then I just kind of like my horse, like I just kind of like stop the horse, and it comes to like a thing, and it's just I'm like looking at it fall, and it's just like. And I just ride back out. I just ride back to the front line. Like I don't say anything. It's just like, fuck it.
I'm just I'm letting out a roar as I'm like Andy Dufresning in like a instead of rain, it's just the blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I'll just ride to the front line.
Holy shit! All right, yeah. Give me, ladies and gentlemen, one of you.
You do, Brennan. I can't.
Give me.
Apparently, I'm only allowed to roll like fucking. I'm not allowed to roll below 15 on a D20 to hit.
Yeah,
so.
I know, it's disgusting.
Give me a D10 plus 3. They get a D10 plus 4 because you've indirectly destroyed a fifth of their force. Alright, so their force is pressing yours, and it's really weird. Like, the loss of seemingly their commander has sent the remainder of them into a frenzy, and they're going crazy. Like, the majority of your front line has either gotten destroyed or pulled back, and now your veterans are taking most of the brunt. You've probably lost... Here, I'm going to go ahead and roll this. You've probably lost somewhere in the realm... Yeah, you've lost about a quarter of your force. Most of your greens have died. Just gone under this pulsating mass of just fiendish slime.
Mm-hmm.
And as it is, you guys re-enter the fray full force. You bring your men to bear, and now, Thrall, now that you're entering the fray truly as a force, I want one more battle check.
Now you want me to roll it again?
With a +4.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Nice.
Yep, and your force simply begins to grind anything that comes to them. Now that the veterans are taking the brunt, they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I could have, I would have sounded the retreat of the front line.
Yep. The front line, basically the freshest people are sort of getting back their energy, getting back their strength, moving back, healing their wounds. The veterans are up front. The elites are remaining strong. Usually at this point in most forces, the elites would have to recycle. However, you don't have the numbers for that.
Yeah.
But they're lasting. With your command, they are lasting. And with Thrall and the other supporters that you have riding around doing crowd control, it's working. And this, is a losing battle for the other side. And it is simply a numbers game at this point. And after maybe a half hour of heavy fighting, and another another bit of loss for your men. There is this massive mound of just these slimy bodies which seem to be slowly melting into this goo that seeps into the earth. And the battle's over before you know it. You've won.
Yeah, I'd be like, marching around on my horse or whatever, and I'd get up to a big pile of these things, and I'd like to dismount, and I'd like to figure out what they are. See if they resemble any. Like, I'm looking for, like, Einari slavery, slave jewels.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. What are your favorite enemies? They're all humanoids, right?
Yes.
They're not fiends.
It is human, half-elves, goblins, and half-orcs.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a... this won't be too difficult. Just give me a perception, because these things are melting, basically.
It helps that I play a character who probably doesn't care what these things are, because I think I have a pretty good idea.
Nice. Yeah, it's not super difficult. You go amongst the mass, and like this mound again is just stretches the length and breadth of your battle lines. It's basically just this half rectangle, small hill of goo melting off, and amongst the goo, nearest your front line, you just kind of sift a little, maybe with like a long stick, maybe a spear that you guys had in storage or something. And amongst, you do find a couple trinkets, though very sparse, very, very sparse. You definitely notice the fact that the vast majority of these things were wearing nothing, and they did not show many signs of humanity at all. They were just featureless. But a couple of them, you think, now that you think back on it, maybe were wearing clothing. Maybe they had a birthmark. You do find a couple of these trinkets that you're looking for.
Yeah, no, just satisfied with that, I will get back up on my horse and just, trot on over to Reuben. To Thrall, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Thrall, what are you doing?
I think, honestly, I spent like 30 minutes just cutting through and slicing through all these corpses and like rotting flesh and whatnot. And my axe was starting to get dull halfway through, so I started using my hammer, and then my hammer got flung out of my hand. So I'm probably right now like searching through, kicking over some corpses and stuff around where my hammer flew out of my hand.
Yeah,
to basically try and find it amongst all the corpses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're looking amongst them. Give me a perception.
Yeah.
What weapon is this again? Sorry.
The Black Iron Warhammer. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking, because it's like such a hectic fight. I was just going through, and hacking away. I got a nat 1 with a -1, so I got a 0.
Sweet.
I'm only good at rolling attack rolls, guys.
Everything else is bad. Yeah, you're looking around, and this is almost like a small swamp at this point. Except rather than having like 90% obscurity in the water, there's none. You can't see anything. There's full obscurity in this liquid that is just almost pooling around your feet if it weren't constantly seeping into the earth.
Yeah.
And yet you look, but to no avail. At one point you think you see it, you reach your hand in, and you just get this really tingly feeling. It almost kind of burns, and you just wrench it back out. It's on instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do not find it as of now.
Yeah, I just kick a corpse over angrily, and then
certainly, yeah, you
I find some sort of like the most sort of solid pile of bodies that I'm sort of like, probably when Marius finds me, I'm like sitting against it, sharpening my axe, which has grown dull, with the whetstone, with my special whetstone.
Yeah, I get that. So you start to sharpen.
Shing.
Yeah.
Shing.
For long, got a nice sharp great axe, and Marius, you two can reconnoiter.
I just sort of ride up and just You look almost disappointed. That's the fight.
The fight doesn't matter. How are the men?
Battered. They'll be fine. All of the weak ones are dealt with.
Yeah. Most
Their
of your
resolve
family
not
died,
broken.
but yeah.
If anything, they all know now that if there was one man meant to be king of this land, it's you. Well done.
You think it's possible the reason we are not able to contact this place, this lord, because of these things or something like them?
Doesn't matter.
You're right.
If they are still alive, then competence to let this rise up in the first place will cost them their lives. I'll replace them with someone else I trust. Perhaps Alabaster. Yeah, I think Alabaster will do. For the time being, until we're able to reinstate a new lord.
He'll hold this place well.
Yeah. And I just get off the horse and just... I believe some of the abominations that we fought were the Anyari slaves that were spoken of. I don't believe that this was mere coincidence. Let's hope the entire state of the town is not like this, because we really do need this strategic position if we are to take the entirety of Anyar. I suggest we move. There's no point in resting amongst the rot. And I just look around at all of the dead things around us.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. All of your men are there, the ones that have been dragged off. But these creatures, again, they simply melt down into this black, almost like blood-like substance that, equally as impossible, simply seeps into the ground. It's very odd.
Get the men.
Yeah.
Give them an hour. Round up weapons, armor. We don't have any competent smithing locations yet. Once we get the fire giants, maybe different story. But for now, we need all the weapons we can get.
Of course. Yeah, I just bow my head and I will start attending to that. Secretly, while this is happening, the two of my henchmen are looking for his Warhammer because they saw him lose it. So is there a roll I can give?
Absolutely. You can have both of them make wisdom checks.
Okay.
Both of them. Mm-hmm.
Hot 6. It does not want to be found.
I rolled a 21 originally, but I realized I didn't ask. So.
I'll take the 21. I didn't see the 21 as the thing. So
yeah, no, I rolled it a while ago, but I was like, I didn't ask. I'm gonna ask later.
That's fine. I'll take the 21, baby.
Yeah.
Trip is so nice.
I know he is nice. Well, I mean, it's a night. Yeah.
You're also fucking overpowered. So
yeah. Well, I was gonna say you gotta not give him the Warhammer, dude. He just kills your big bad boss.
Yeah, but the Warhammer doesn't matter to him. Well, I mean, it matters to him in terms of fluff, so I don't want to take that away.
Yeah. The
Rumiel definitely finds. Yeah.
He doesn't want to take it away because there's a chance I might use it instead of the axe. So it's.
Yeah, exactly. The axe is fun.
Well, also because it's something cool your character did, and I mean the same thing with the axe. It's just
Tripper.
The axe is like a freaking artifact.
Tripper.
Yeah, what?
Just be glad I didn't use the fire powder. It would have been more dice of damage on the weapon.
Bruh, I swear. I swear.
Bruh, I swear.
Yeah. So
fucked up.
It is so
you guys
fucking...
are,
I'm so sorry.
Gathering up your stuff. No, baby. It's okay, baby. So, you guys are gathering the men together. And Rumiel brings over the Warhammer. And I don't know if you wanted her to give that to him or give it to you.
Yeah, she'll give it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tasked to stay next to him for now. So Marius is dealing with the men.
Cool. Yeah. Without a word between you, you notice Rumiel is holding your Warhammer sort of by its midsection. Looks kind of awkward in her small hands.
Yeah.
She holds it out to you without a word.
Yeah, I grab it just like around the neck of it and take it from her. I don't thank her, but I just give her like a sort of up head nod.
Yeah.
Go back to sharpening my great axe.
Yep. Yeah, and the night goes on. Would any of you like to do anything until morn? Before morn?
I'm just dealing with the men. That's it.
I've had my long rest, right?
Yeah, you both have had a long rest, and you'll have another before you get to the castle.
I won't have another, I think, because I have to.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Because I have to stay up between long rests for the blood ritual.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm simply saying mechanically the journey there.
Yeah, no. I'm just sort of saying that I'll stay up through.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yep, I understand. Yeah, because that's a thing. Sweet. So, the both of you wait out the rest of the night. Wasn't terribly many hours longer until morning. But, as it gets there, the sun rises, and it is a new day. And the army, though battered, beaten, still there. They still are led by but a pair of men. Then they have a captain to do some stuff, but mostly you guys.
Yeah, we got fucking dickwad.
This fucking guy does he's middle management. It's a thing.
I'm not giving you his name because neither of you would care.
He's like that assistant manager that like everybody kind of goes to and complains to, and then he's like, I can't do anything.
He's like, why
do you get paid more than me? And he's like, I don't like that's.
I killed somebody. Sometimes.
His name's Kyle.
Yeah, it's
like inexplicably in this land of like fantasy names, his name's Kyle.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's got fucking glasses on.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Fucker. Fuck.
God,
Frosty's caught me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hot potatoes. What is it that you two are doing in the morning? Are you guys going to set off immediately?
Yeah, I would just see to it that we're ready to travel.
Yeah. Make sure everybody who survived has like a decent meal, maybe like a bit more rations than usual, that sort of thing.
Oh, we can afford it now, certainly. So.
Yeah, because we have less men.
Yeah.
Might as well get rid of it before it rots anyway.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so you guys make use of the supplies you have. Yeah, you probably give out double rations. Because there's not as many people to feed.
Yeah,
and you need your men well rested.
Yeah, and it's like a reward thing for not fucking dying or routing during the battle.
Exactly. Yeah, the men could have very well routed. Like this is probably the absolute worst. Like these men probably would have never dreamed of being in a battle such as this.
Yeah,
and due to the leadership and prowess of the two of you. And the elites, it was over before an hour was up. Like, you have a well-oiled fighting machine. In effect. So, you guys make way. Get on the road to Dakhta, and as I said, you will both have a long rest along the way. Nothing's going to abscond you. However, something along the way that is distinctly noticeable is a smell. This pervading smell of iron. Both of you sift through memories. It's a very easy thing to identify. It's blood. You've been in rooms full of blood before. Both of you have killed many, many men. One of you, many, many men at the same time. And another has practically basked in the blood. Well, actually, both of you have. You're very intimate, both of you, with blood. One of you does. But this is weird. You try to look for a source and you can't find it. It's just this very strong sense. This overwhelming smell. I don't want to call that a stench because the two of you probably find it almost welcoming. But the rest of your men don't exactly feel the same way. A couple of the still living fresh trainees are like vomiting, and even some of the veterans are not having a good time getting through this smell. Yeah. The two of you have been battle-hardened so much and have done so much in the regard toward blood. One of you worships it. The other one is, well, turned on by it. That neither of you care. The captain rides up to you two as the smell pervades and just overwhelms you two. As you also begin to see the fortress. Mind you, I'll have a picture of that momentarily also. But the captain will ride up to the two of you. And he has a seemingly a cloth before his face. Hello, can we Is there no way to circumvent the smell? Some of the men are growing nauseous. Supplies are bound to go bad.
How far are we from the city?
The castle, it's basically a coastline fortress.
Yeah.
Maybe a mile and a half.
Yeah. March the men half of a mile. Back to the ways that we came. I want a couple men, 12. Some that can stomach it. They'll come with us. You look after things here while we're gone, yeah?
Jawohl, Dankeschön. Menschen! Yeah, he calls out to the men and sees to it that all the veterans, all the freshies, part of the elites are taken back. You are tasked with a dozen heavy Anyari elites.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are men not unlike those that you fought with. They were the knights, basically, from the fight before.
Yeah.
That I mentioned.
And how were the twins doing?
The twins, they seem to have, like, moved their bandanas to over their nose, but they're stomaching it.
Yeah.
Like, you know that they deal with pig and horse shit on a daily basis in front of their faces. So,
yeah.
Or they used to. So, yeah, the majority of your force, roughly 55 to 60 men, start pulling back with the captain. And they're going to do a holding position there. Your elite force, are moving onward. The 12 men behind you don't really seem that affected by the smell. These are men that have also been in similar straits to you guys. They're seasoned warriors. Yeah. So, as you guys approach, I'll give you something akin. Yeah. So this is vaguely what it looks like. And rather than put it in a handout, I'll just do a thing. Yeah. So, here you go.
Where is?
It is in the chat. Roll20 chat.
Oh, I see. You posted it.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, sorry for the ghetto nature of that, but
it's all right.
There you go.
It's pretty. It's a pretty picture.
Gets it nice up on screen, full screen.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's so much better that way. Don't have to worry about handout size or anything like that. It's a beautiful and immense, incredibly defensible fortress. You are not wrong, Marius, when you said this would be critical to your takeover. Especially the sea takeover. This fortress, you know, has...
Well, we can lock down coastal trade, which
exactly
fucks your entire county. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Any coastal city, any coastal town is threatened by this fortress, effectively. Massive harbor. You guys approach. The front of the fortress, you can't see it very well, but it's much like the back. It's basically these cascading towers that get taller, and then there's a couple just staggered along that are much taller. It seems to have a double-walled design, so it has a outer and inner courtyard. This is I keep saying this word, but this is an absolutely invulnerable fortress for all intents and purposes. Like, you know that you would not have been able to siege this thing with your company. You would have only been able to dealt with like outriders or scouts.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys get closer. How do you guys approach this place?
I'll leave that to you, Brandon.
Would you like to give it a look over?
Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to get close to them. I'd like to survey it.
Yeah, give me a perception.
Oh yeah, we have a smaller party now. I forget when we don't have the full army.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. I know exactly what's
Solid.
happening. I like look and I'm like I don't know what's happening. Like.
You can give me one perception for your two followers as well.
Nice, that's nice.
They can see something you don't.
So you want me to give a, what, wisdom?
Wisdom, please, yeah. Slightly better. Okay, yeah. So you and your men are looking across this thing, and
I don't know.
Once again, the pervading thing that you see is simply the fact that it is this massive, impregnable fortress. And it's kind of interesting. Thrall, you don't really care to kind of to like look at the details of it, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
What's your passive perception, Thrall?
9.
Shit.
So 1 higher than that. I have a -1 wisdom, remember?
My passive perception is fucking 13, which is good.
I know. Yeah. So you guys are getting closer and closer. And you hear a little bit of what is in this world, the out-of-world equivalent, basically German. It's basically a slang, an Anyari slang. They're speaking to one another.
The men?
They're the men behind you guys. They're just kind of like speaking, not necessarily not to be heard, but mostly so that like they're not interrupting you guys.
Yeah, well, I would just stop on my horse and just turn around and speak with purpose, or I'll cut out your tongue.
Mein Führer, Entschuldigung. Dimension. The men in the towers. There are none.
He's pointing up at the towers. And this is kind of interesting that you weren't able to notice this, but you were kind of under the impression the crenellated walls might have done it. But you look up and you notice there are no men on the walls. None. There are no men walking the walls, none in the towers. There's no movement in the fortress.
I fear that maybe the men that used to occupy these walls we have faced in the field already.
Vielleicht. Yeah, he rides backward a little bit.
And I turn and look at Thrawn. Perhaps it is best that we see for ourselves if the city is in such a bad state, yeah?
Yeah. Did any of your men bring grappling hooks? Looks like we might need them.
Yep. The portcullis is down, the gates are shut.
If we go near the coastline, we might find a boat.
Or we could scale the cliff.
That too.
Yeah. A couple of the men have grappling hooks and rope.
I'll send my hounds up the walls. They'll open the gate for us. Vadzoran, Lumil.
Yeah. They go basically at this pseudo sprint. If you can imagine effectively the way Usain Bolt sprints, just a tiny bit slower, with a little bit more grace. They get up to the walls, and they just start scaling them. Give me athletics from both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
The walls are thick. They're very difficult to climb.
Nice.
However, both of them, despite the difficulty, begin to scale. They're moving very slowly because the amount of actually viable handholds and whatnot are pretty difficult to find. But they're able to make it to the top after not too long. And they go to the gatehouse, and maybe a couple moments pass by. You hear one of the men behind you. This is the first time any of them have done this in the march, just the first sign of really the smell kind of pervading. And at this point, the smell is intoxicating.
Yeah.
Just utterly, incredibly intoxicating. And right now, just the rising sun is creating this glow across the ocean to the south, which you guys can see very well. That southern ocean is known as the Endless Night, by the way. And it's normally this sort of light blue hue, but the shine of the sun gives it this sort of orange hue.
I'd like to go over to the men, because we only have like 12 remaining, right? So
yes,
I'd like to go over to them and sort of, I'm assuming they sort of like, stand in sort of more of a formal position as I get close.
Oh yes.
You're showing your weakness. Any beast that comes across you, if you're almost gagging on the air, knows that you won't be fit to fight.
Yeah. You hear from within the helmet a deep inhalation.
Ja, mein Führer. Du bist richtig. Danke.
I'm going to say as I'm walking past them, I sort of like observe each one, and then as I'm walking back, I'm going to be muttering a prayer to Argus, basically, to basically like strengthen these idiots. Try and strengthen their resolve in this particular field, because it's one of the few ones where my religion might help me outside of combat.
Yeah, go for it. You can give me a religion check. I know you may not have it.
Yeah, I don't think I do, but it's still a +2, so...
Yeah, that ain't bad.
I rolled a nat 1, my dude. My god says, fuck you, and makes the smell worse.
Fuckity you, boy. Yeah. Also, yeah, Marius, you would have just gotten inspiration for what you've done, and...
Nice, thank you.
Thing is, for what you're doing, Thrall, I want to give you inspiration. I'll let you use it on this roll.
I won't use it on this roll. It's
Cool.
fine.
Okay.
I'm not overly enthusiastically doing it. I'm just sort of like, because I don't think I'm that in touch with my god either. We have sort of
Right.
a tenuous relationship where one day I'm probably gonna have to break ties. Like I'm still like devout and serving and we have a beneficial relationship
yeah.
right now, but
Yeah.
it's one built on antagonism as well. So
Yeah. You're a crazy good servant, dude. Like, a ridiculously good servant.
But one day he's going to start, if we start running the country, he's going to start asking for sacrifices and stuff. So,
Yeah. As you sort of make your silent pseudo prayer, the man who coughed before seems to kind of be in this like fit almost instantaneously of just. And he just kind of wrenches off his helmet and just. A couple others in the line do the same. Just kind of go into these fits like.
I would like to just, like, without even just a warning whatsoever, the first one to take his helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was about to do something, but yeah, nice.
Nice. Yeah.
But I'd still be on my horse.
Yeah, of course. You just barely look back and just... And, you basically whip the side of his face since he just took his helmet off. And he...
Forgive me, Manchuga.
And he just kind of, like, wipes at the wound with his gauntlet, almost spreading it a little bit, and spreading the blood across his face. The others in line basically just shove a fist at their mouth, just seem to be, like, doing these slight groans. And you notice that they were, like, coughing up blood.
Yeah.
A little bit.
If any of you find yourself removing anything further than blood, anything solid, come see me. If not, don't hold us up.
Yeah, you hear a couple Manchuga. And you guys approach the fortress, I assume, now with the gates open.
Yeah, like as it's like, it's like coming down or whatever. I just look at Thrawn. You have to get used to not climbing into places. Kings enter through the gates, not the cliffside.
Conquerors went to wherever they damn well please. And we are no kings yet.
Doesn't mean you should not act like one.
Yeah, I walk forwards through the gate.
Yeah. You guys you guys are still on horseback, continually approaching. The smell of blood continues to ramp up little by little in strength. The men behind you, if any of them make any noise, it's simply the slightest that you hear. It's almost nothing at all. Yeah. And they're containing it to the best of their ability. You guys are inside the outer courtyard, and there is no one. There is not nothing. There are plenty of supplies, crates, carts, wagons, a stable that seemed like it was filled maybe just a month or two ago. And it's large. This is a very big fortress. As I said, this fortress was probably home to somewhere in the realm of 1,000 soldiers. Yeah. At any one time. So, you two are in the outer courtyard. There's the inner courtyard. You already noticed that your two hounds, as you called them, have begun raising the inner portcullis. And there is practically an open path to the keep.
Yeah. Can I make a I don't know whether it be perception or survival or what,
Yeah,
but I'm basically looking for any traces of sort of recent footsteps. like disturbing any of the mud or anything like that?
Yeah. I'll let you roll either.
Okay.
Yep. Take your pick.
I think they're both pretty bad. And then the question is specifically, would this in any way relate to tracking the specific creature that I'm looking for?
Oh, okay. I think I. So you're simply looking for footprints.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There are masses of them. Like, this is a very well-traveled
Yeah.
area.
I'm looking for recent ones.
Because
there's a lot of blood and this place seems pretty barren.
Yep.
I'm looking for ones that have been made within the past day.
About that. There is no blood at all in the outer courtyard. It doesn't look like there was a battle or anything.
Yeah.
But there's this pervading smell.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead and either of them.
I will roll. It doesn't matter, so I will roll survival -1.
All right, yeah. So you're looking around. Again, there's just so many sets of footprints. It's really hard to distinguish from like the recent and the not recent because there's just hundreds of footprints. So sadly, you can't really get a gauge on any one individual set.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I'll notice what he's doing and just perhaps that is not your strong suit, Thrall. Allow me.
My god usually.
God damn, it's not mine either.
My pact usually helps me find specific quarries.
Yeah. What was that extra thing about your quarry that you get?
If the check is in a way like relating to tracking them, and like just them, I get advantage on it.
Oh, okay. It's just them then.
So since I'm not tracking just them here.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
I was making that check to see if I could figure out if like they had been here and pick up on that trail.
I gotcha. Yeah, you both have inspiration, by the way, from before.
Yeah.
Marius, you rolled a 10. You're looking around. You know the difference between fresh and not fresh footprints, but you're having a similar problem to Thrall. There's just so many. However, you do notice a distinct, very small number of footprints that seem to vaguely lead in. You assume there's another one that leads out, but the freshest prints are leading in toward the keep.
The freshest prince of Bel Air. The guy. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Thrall, you're dominated. Kill him.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you could. I haven't got that good a wisdom save.
I know. Yeah. So, what's it going to be?
Perhaps we should proceed to the Lord's Hold. Figure out what we can see there.
If he was going to trap himself anywhere to stop whatever emptied this place, it's probably where he would be. That or his vault. I don't know the man.
We will look both places. I'd like to study what happens here. See that it doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Sorry, accidentally opened something.
Yeah, so I just, go. And at this point, I would dismount my horse and let one of the guards grab the reins.
Yep. One of the elites does.
Yeah, I'd like to walk on my own 2 feet and, check out everything.
All right, yeah. You do so.
Is everything covered in, like, blood, or is it just empty?
No, there is no blood. There is no blood, as I said before, yeah. There is nobody, there's no sign of people other than those footprints.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we'll start making our way along the streets towards the whole, the keep.
Yeah.
Yep, you both make your way there. You get to the front door, the front double doors, I should say, and they are ajar. Just simply left open.
Well, I suppose if there's any traps, it's better if I trigger it.
Yeah.
I step in.
You step in, and the inside of the keep is very well decorated. It's very nice. Nobody's here, from what you can tell. It's silent,
Mm-hmm.
completely silent inside.
Do the beds look made?
If you guys go, so there is
Like I go to like the closest like servants' quarters, basically.
Okay, yeah, certainly.
Because this is always if this place seems barren, it's a I think it's a good idea to like check if the beds are made, then they left. Like it tells us what time of day they left, right?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, you go into the nearest servants' quarters. That's what you do when you go in, and the beds are not made. They are somewhat strewn about. Not strewn about like there was chaos, but just not made.
Okay. So
Yeah.
probably like early in the morning before they had time to make them, or during the night they had to get up and leave for some reason, or something like that. Yeah.
Anything you want to do, Marius?
I would like to continue to the main hall with,
Yeah.
like
main
wherever there
concourse.
would be like a place where they would have food prepared or anything. I want to see if
Yeah.
there's food put on table for
Yeah,
them.
there's a large feasting hall, from what you can tell, in seemingly one of the middlemost rooms of this keep. And within, it's just this faint smell of rotting food. There's no food on the tables. There's only food on the frontmost table, in front of a small stone throne, as well as several other chairs around it that seem to have food in front of them.
Is there meat?
Yes.
I'd like to go up and touch it and examine it and try and figure out how old it is.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I know this stuff. I'm a hunter, so I'll be like, it's spoiled for this long. What
Yeah.
should I do? Perception?
That would be investigation or survival.
I'll do it. What the shit? Good God! I'm gonna use my inspiration because I am not bad at these.
Yeah, there we go. This is like in vengeance for the two like nat 20s you got on the perception
Yeah.
check earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Marius, you sniff the food, you just kind of poke the food. Nothing really seems to stand out to you as that it is anything older than a month. Though you can't be as precise as you'd like within a matter of weeks. So
Yeah.
you know it's no older than a month. Yeah. Also, Thrall, as you're simply going through the halls, looking at things. Also, who would your henchmen be following, Marius?
They would be with probably Thrall. I'd be with the men
Okay,
because they still have the standing order.
Yeah.
gotcha. Yep. Yeah. Thrall, you see as you're just going through the halls, many portraits of people. They all seem to be some manner of soldier or family, what have you. However, once you get to sort of the backmost, I guess, foyer, that seems to have a large library within it, which is kind of a rarity amongst the keeps. Normally you'd have those in a large castled city, but go figure. But in this large room, there is a massive portrait on one wall with a plaque on it. This is the portrait. It's Lord Lawrence Dietrich von Dachte. That's the man. Very regal-looking man, but very soldierly at the same time. Yeah. You see that? You see all manner of books laying out as though they were being read just moments ago.
Okay.
Yeah. You two can reconnoiter if you so wish.
I just obviously do the normal thing of like making sure there's nothing hidden behind the portrait, like any safe or anything like that.
Yeah, no, this portrait is huge. Yeah, moving it over, there's nothing there.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to get that air out the room there.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, after you guys are kind of combing a little bit, you realize there is a sort of circle stair that leads down, and then two stairways that lead up. Both the stairways that lead up are locked and seemingly barred. The stairwell that leads down has no doors, from what you guys can tell. This you guys gather from just exploring the main level.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what is the plan?
I suppose we should check up before we check the basement, yeah?
We could. Left or right?
Send a group of men up one way, us the other way.
Fair enough.
And I just get to the men to bust these doors down or bust the locks off.
Yeah. With enough time spent, you have the weaponry and the manpower to break these doors down. It's not an issue.
I just want them to do it. I don't want to do it.
Of course.
In D&D, for once, I get to be like, someone else does this. Yeah.
Do my stuff
nice.
for me. Yeah. And you guys start combing the upper levels. This is a tall keep. Not nearly as tall as the one in Uberschlosse, but tall nonetheless. There are many windows that face in all directions. You guys don't really care about those. You care what's inside. Constantly, there is this theme of simply people not being where it seems like they just were moments ago.
Yeah.
Like people have just disappeared. Like there is a knitting set in seemingly a girl's room, lying on the bed.
Yeah, like the thread, still like halfway through a stitch of like a toy or something. Yeah.
There is a sparring arena with weapons and shields laying in the arena lazily. And all throughout, there's just these oddities occurring here and there. And eventually you guys get to nearly the top level, the tower. And both of you ostensibly go onto the rooftop, try to get a bird's eye view. You assume this is one of the tallest towers, if not the tallest. And at the top, once you leave, again, these two stairways, respectively, you have a full view of the keep. And now that you've been exploring this place for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, quite a while, you're looking all around the roof, all around the keep itself. And again, there's just a sign of no life whatsoever. You look out onto the harbor, both of you, ostensibly. No ships, no men, but something catches your eye that is completely off. And you notice now that the sun is higher in the sky, there is no orange tint to the sea. But there is something else.
One might say an ocean of blood. Yeah.
The ocean is a crimson red. As far as your eyes can see, in any direction out from the fort. And it is almost as though an infection is emitting from this fortress. That's how it looks visually, effectively. This blood is spreading in such a way. Its tendrils reaching out. And it is vast. So vast as the ocean itself. So, you're both on the roof. The harbor begins lower on the rocks than the fortress itself. And you know the fortress, through a stairwell, goes deep.
I don't know of any dark magics that could do this. But it seems our Lord was not unloyal to us after all.
No. I think those things are perhaps a sign of something bigger going on.
Yeah.
If such a beast could be beaten so quickly, I don't think it could be because of this. Like, sweep a hand across the entire horizon right now.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Something dark. Some atrocity was committed here.
I suppose we'd have to dig deeper and find out what it is. Perhaps visit some of the other coastal towns, see if it hits them as well. Perhaps what it is came from the sea. But it still doesn't explain what the use of all the slaves was.
Perhaps
Large
sacrifice?
To call something dark. If we look inside personal journals, things of that sort, maybe the apothecaries here might have some answers.
Yeah. I'm going down.
Yeah. I just nod my head to some of the men just to follow him, and I'll just stay up here, taking a couple glances, like place my hand on the edge of the railing of the tower and just look across as far as I can see blood. And I'll wait a few moments and I'll go down.
All right, so the both of you move down and down. You get to the base level, and then you mosey on over to the circular stairwell that leads down. You assume to the dungeons. And so it does. There are several floors of dungeons as well, as is common with most Anyari fortresses, though this one seems to go a bit deeper. And the dungeons stop at a point. There are about 6 levels of dungeons, and then the stairs keep going down. If you guys were to ever look into any of these dungeons, barren. Not a soul. You continue down. The elite heavies clanking behind you laboriously. And your henchman, of course, Marius, behind Thrall. And eventually, after maybe 2 or 3 minutes of walking down the entirety of the stairwell, you finally get to a place, though it is not walled beyond the doorway. There is no door, I should mention.
Okay.
Beyond the doorway, there is simply dirt. However, the smell of blood is almost suffocating. I'd like both of you to give me a con save.
Damn.
Okay.
That's when you know it's bad.
Okay.
You know what? At least that wasn't on an attack roll.
Yeah, because I never roll good on them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thrall, nothing's different.
Yeah.
This is
I serve
another
a blood
day.
god. I mean,
This is another day at work. Yeah. Marius, you have been staying strong this whole time. You come down here and you basically try to take a small bit of air in, and you almost feel blood congeal on your mucous membranes in your nose, as though it is vapor coming into it.
Yeah.
And just out of instinct, you just and blood just starts dripping out, but it's not your own.
What sort of depravity is this? Never seen anything like this.
Yeah. Your henchmen are doing all right. The knights, for the most part, are keeping themselves together, though there's no shortage of...
Oh, my God.
this is no normal smell.
9.
Guard's the entrance. Get all the men back up to the front. I don't want anything coming in after us.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, jawohl. You heard him.
Yeah, the men are starting to rush up the stairs, and you presume they're taking posts, as they will.
While as we continue onwards, at a point where we are away from all the men, so they don't see me do anything, I will basically try to subtly hand Marius a potion of greater healing. Just probably like as I'm passing him, I like just hold out like a hand backwards with it in.
Yeah, I'll take it and just nod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
And did this do damage to me?
No,
Yeah,
it was
no.
simply
Yeah,
an
this
effect.
is just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he hands you the potion, and you find yourself, if you would like to continue, the both of you,
Yep.
walking down this soil-laden hall.
Yeah, as we're walking though, like we make eye contact or whatever, and I don't think Thrall, you've ever seen Marius like this, like sort of worried before or on edge. Like he never normally shows any sort of concern for, what lies ahead. But it's like this is sort of getting to him a little bit. Just the smell of, because like this is even a depravity, like a level that he hasn't reached himself in terms of a mortal level that you can reach. This is something deeper.
Yeah. Some zealous atrocity has been committed. These are the types of things we have to root out if we are to be just rulers of this place. Or any kind of ruler of this place.
It is a sad thing when what I see and smell even is an atrocity to myself. I must say they've committed quite an astonishing act here, whatever this is. Let's root this out and leave this place. Don't want to be here too long.
Marius, I like place a hand on your shoulder and just like turn around.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. To Ripper, if I can, this probably won't do anything, but I'd like to do the paladin thing of extending 5 points of lay on hands on him. That's the thing that ends all poisons and diseases. Though I understand that this may be some unnatural effect. So
certainly,
but I try to cleanse him with that.
Okay. Yeah. So Marius, this like every time you breathe in through your nose or mouth, this just small film of blood seems to almost like appropriate itself on your mucous membranes, and it's just so horrible. Like, not the blood part, the fact that it seems to almost be like seeping into your skin. However, as Thrall extends this purifying power, you feel the blood start to eject itself, and no longer does this effect occur on you.
Yeah, I would just just try and get some of it out of my nose.
Bunch of blood.
Yeah, and it's like, it's like down my lip, and I just wipe it off.
All right. And at that point, would all of you like to continue onward down the steps?
Yeah. I would like to I would just suggest that we try and be a bit more quiet.
Yeah.
At least to mask our number.
Yeah, of course.
I agree with that. I try my best.
I'll show you the room you're in.
You're not rolling super great today.
No, dude.
Here's the reason I'm showing it to you.
Yeah, my rolls have been... dude, I'm getting dunked.
Hey, I got the best with disadvantage.
What the fuck? You have a fake leg.
I have a fake leg and heavy armor.
Holy shit, man. So this is the room you guys enter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is light emanating from each and every one of those skulls. A red, heinous light. The blood is pooling, and the blood keeps seeping out of these skulls, seemingly getting higher, but very, very slowly. Very slowly.
I'd like to check something, by the way.
Sure. Actually, there's a facet of this that I need to...
My magic item has... My magic item, the ritual on it says that I basically get disadvantage with any other weapon, so long as my quarry still lives.
Uh-huh.
So, I imagine there's some sort of facet of compulsion and that sort of thing implied with that. I'm wondering if I look down at my weapon, are the veins still thick and pulsing in the weapon, or do they appear to have sort of rescinded back into it?
They are still pulsating. That's the sign that your quarry
still lives,
is alive
in some form. Yeah,
in some form, exactly. Yeah. So there is no path above you that is inaccurate. There's bunches of rubble effectively covering this area. You know there's an area beyond it, but it's basically intraversable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, at this point, you guys are simply looking... No way.
I can long jump that.
You're kidding me. You're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, as of right now, the skulls stop seeping blood.
Mm-hmm.
It happens very abruptly. Every single one of them stops seeping blood at once. The last bits of blood trickle into the pool. And then almost counterintuitively, the pool starts to rise up. There doesn't seem to be anything flowing into it.
Step
Yeah. You guys step back a couple feet.
I'll stay towards the edge.
Okay. Yeah.
Just tell that
you remain.
Step back.
And the blood rises and rises and rises. until it effectively starts to flow over here, just a little bit, but doesn't rise any higher than that. So your feet are just in the blood.
Okay.
And then all this blood seems to just ever so slightly curdle a little bit. And you notice the very center of the pool, there's a disturbance. The bubbling seems to be stronger there. And you notice some kind of form start to take shape out of the blood as it starts bubbling upward and outward.
Yeah, I would grab my crossbow and just aim and step at it, step forward and kind of wait to see Thrall's reaction to it. But yeah, because I'm not going to shoot at it unless he would want, but that's like my thing.
Yeah. I'm just spinning my great axe in my hand right now.
Of course.
Just
and out of the blood comes this utterly evil, completely devoid of any kind of living essence creature. That once the blood has dripped free from his body, simply gazing at him, eschews some manner of affect. This is what this creature looks like. As it sits upon a throne seemingly made of stone, but you notice blood seeping in and out of his fingers. And he sits. He sits, and as his head begins to form out of the blood, it cocks upright toward all of you. The red in its eyes, as there's nothing else, pierces your very souls. And you hear, within all of your minds, as its mouth does not even move,
mortals, have you come to pledge service to our Lord Asmodeus? I find him very fulfilling to work for.
Marius, you are wrong. It seems he did betray us. And I'm going to pull out a javelin and throw it at him.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and make